Welcome into KSL Sports Rewind. Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart, as always, presented by Heidemann and Associates.
Yeah, that's right. A full-service law firm available for business needs, personal needs, whatever you have going on. They might not be able to help you if you want to petition a call in a game, but outside of that, they're going to take care of you
will try.
For your needs. Yeah. Just tell them Rewind sent you, and you'll get a free consultation when you call 801-754-4240.
And don't worry, our football video, finalizing, getting that out. Yep. You're gonna like what Mr. Rewind gets if you follow us on Twitter. If you don't, go check it out. They're gonna enjoy it. All right, go through the boys video here. So much going on in basketball. We do so many games. Just to kind of let people know, we'll be close to 150 games by the end of the state tournament. We were like 138, counting last weekend.
Yeah, just so you guys know, I haven't been home in about a week and a half. Yeah. So.
And my daughter's asked me if I'm staying home. So, all right, so we're going to do this and make sure what we want to talk about here, some big wins, some players that are starting out really well. We'll go region by region. In some regions, man, we were stacked. So how about in Region 1? We told you to watch out for this team in our preview video. And the Syracuse Titans, they played their best game against Lone Peak. That comes from someone that's seen every one of their games.
Yeah.
Really, really good. This Syracuse team and Ethan Erickson are starting to find their legs.
That's a really good Lone Peak team. It was a 20-10 third quarter. You talk about Erickson, he finished with 17. Hamblin had 16. I talked to a coach who played Syracuse this year, and he said that number 2 can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. And I told him, and I mean this in the best way, he's a poor man's Colin Chandler. And what I mean by that is he doesn't have all the fanfare that Colin had as a junior, but he has that same kind of game and ability. Caden Erickson is Caden Erickson is one of the best players that the state doesn't know about, the colleges don't know about yet.
Yeah.
He's going to be known. This young man is an absolute baller, and he's a tough matchup night in, night out. When you play Syracuse, you better have an answer. And the other thing is, it's not just him. We talked about Hamblin. There's a lot of other guys.
If you leave Daxton Faddis alone, dude hit 4 threes. He was 4-5 from 3.
Carter Sembro, a guy that just does so much good work. This is a balanced roster for Coach Russell. They're bought in, and they just execute you to death. They don't make mistakes. It's a really, really good Syracuse team.
Well, I'll tell you this, just because there's a shot clock, I think it just helped. Because remember last year they played a lot of defense, and it's worked out. Give them great pace as well. Oh, that sounds so good. We talked about Clearfield girls. How about the Clearfield boys? Starting out 4-1. Lincoln Church leading the way for the Falcons.
Yeah, had a nice win over Roy. Some of you might be like, Roy. That Roy team, a lot of people think is one of the top 2 teams in Region 2, and that's a competitive Region 2, by the way, just FYI.
Yeah, we'll get there.
That's a nice win over Roy, and Peyton Cotter had 17 points in that game, been one of the leading scorers this year. We talked about the girls' video. It's awesome to see some of these programs that have kind of struggled to get out to wins and good starts. Awesome to see a good start there for Clearfield. Keep it up, Falcons.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't cheer for teams, cheer for that one. Want to see them finish up something. How about Farmington? I mean, I feel like we're going to go through the whole Region 1 because this is a good region. Farmington started out great, and Paul Beatty, been a man.
Yeah, and look, you can argue one of their better wins this year is against Dixie. They had a 23-7 fourth quarter, and some of you are like, oh, that's a 4A team. Folks, Dixie would beat a lot of 5A, 6A teams. I'm telling you that right now.
Rob Ross will tell you that.
They've got a 6'9 guy in Kyle Lemke that is an absolute terror to deal with, and Paul Beatty had to deal with him and did a pretty good job. Now, look, he had to sacrifice some offense, but other guys stepped up in that game. Haskell had 24. He was a baller late, hit big-time threes, big drives, and look, there's other pieces around Paul Beatty, and it's going to be a matter of time for Paul. He's going to find his game. I love what we've seen his development last year to this. We saw it in the top 50. This Farmington squad on any night can be a matchup problem.
Yeah, it'd be really good. And then one more in Region 1. How about the Layton Lancers? Makai Martin, the younger brother of the Kemp brothers, one playing in the NFL still, 18 points per game.
Yeah, they've handed Westlake their only loss in the first couple of weeks of the year, 56-54. And look, they were without Brock Mendoza. He's back. That's a welcome sight for Coach Kelby Miller and company. This Layton squad, they've got the trio set up. You talk about Martin, they've got the big in Mendoza, and they got the shooter in KJ Miller. They've got a trio. If they can jive, they're going to be one of the top 5 teams in the state when it's all said and done.
Yeah, in Region 2, I mean, it's the Cypress Pirates world, and only that, it is Q Mesa, 4-year starter, kids averaging 25 points per game.
Been remarkable, and look, Diego Mulford, he's missed the last couple games with an injury, so Q's had more load to carry. He's been up to the task. I did the game against Lone Peak, was talking with Coach Ross afterwards. He's like, we can do anything with Q. He's like, I ran out of ideas. And a young man just figured out ways, and I'll tell you this, guys, you hear me say it, don't poke the bear. Lone Peak students love you, but they gave Q a bit of a chant, and Q had an answer for him, and it helped Cypress get the win over Lone Peak.
I tweeted it, and I meant it. He may not win the Off the Bus award, but that dude's got dog in him.
Yeah, he does.
And you poke it, out it comes. He's awesome.
Yep.
All right, you talk about Roy. Make the case why Roy is better than what people think.
Yeah, look, it starts with Elijah Sowers, averaging 21 and 10. You talk about Coach Scott Hunt. He's trying to change a culture when he got there. I think this is his third year now at Roy. He knew I played a lot of young guys because it's going to pay off as we build this thing. It's starting to build, and Elijah Sowers is the first piece of that. There's other guys around him, but this is a team that plays good defense. They're in your face. They're intense. They'll bring it on a nightly basis.
Absolutely. All right, Region 3, hey, they're levitating. How about the Riverton Silver Wolves? And they have come out really well for Coach Skylar Wilson.
This is not the team that I would have picked as the region favorite, but a couple weeks in, they're my region favorite. And it's just because it's impressive wins every night. And again, we're like, well, we'll see if this is legit. And it is, because they come out with another win. Carter Nixon's been fantastic. 26 points and a win over Murray. That is a Murray team that was preseason top 3 in 5A. It was 44-12 at half. 44-12. Yeah. Nixon had 26. This Riverton team can score. They're bought in, and they are really, really good.
Yeah, Jackson Kirks, I think is how you pronounce it. 15 points per game. Stratton Johnson at 10 as well. That's a really, really good team. Yep. Now we go to Region 4. Deep breath. How about Westlake in the month of December, minus a couple of games? 4 straight games. Ready for a fun fact?
Yeah, I love fun facts.
4 straight one-possession games where they're 3-1.
Yeah.
Mercy. They are the TCU of Utah High School basketball.
The amazing thing, I asked Coach Carling that. I went out to Cedar Valley to do Westlake Cedar Valley and said, hey, what is it? Is there something special about it? He's like, Dane, we could be 1-3. You know, I mean, he recognized like how, I don't want to say fragile, but how they've been able to close those out and said, man, you gotta love that because that's gonna pay huge dividends come late in the year. He's like, yeah, we do. And this is a team that, look, they play really good defense and they're all bought in. And you talk about a young man, you talk about that Cedar Valley game, Kroll had like 28 points in that and hit 6 threes. And by the way, he's not their leading scorer. Their leading scorer is Jace Adams. Young man's had over 20 in a win against Lehigh. That was a double overtime win against people's 5A preseason pick. And, I mean, Adams didn't even score till the 4th quarter. It's a versatile lineup, and they got a big and Maverick McManus you got to deal with. This is a very balanced Westlake roster.
Yeah, really, really good. By the way, go check out our YouTube page, or Instagram page for that dunk for Kirks.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, go see that environment at Cedar Valley. We'll get to Cedar Valley in just a moment. Amazing. All right, and then one more, AF. AF might have the best win. We talked about this in the previews. I don't want to beat the horse to death, but Sunrise Christian get that win over them. But Dan, they got 4 players averaging double figures.
Yeah, they also beat Olympus as well.
Right.
We talked about all the guys that were going to get more playing time this year. Cuff, Dunn, others. It's all coming together really early. Good early returns for Coach Cuff.
And then we take a look at Corner Canyon.
Yes.
Oh, man. You know, I know last year I was really excited to see this team, when it gets together,
could be special.
It is, yeah, absolutely.
Could be special. Tubes has been spectacular. Set the school record for most points in the game, like the 2nd game of the year. They had to play Cypress, a game that was close. They pulled that one out once again. Look, they've been strong. And this is a group with Kozlowski and others. Like, there's a lot of pieces there. Look, they could be really, really tough when it's all said and done. We'll see how that plays out if they're able to maintain it. But they got all the options, or all the weapons you need to put together a tournament run. 2
big games this last weekend at the Holiday Hoop Fest. And that guy said to me, their favorite player to watch at Corner Canyon was Jackson Roberts. Like, that dude is unflappable as a point guard, and he turned a lot of heads. Hey, and quick thoughts here, Skyridge and PG, don't want to miss them, because that Region 4, all these teams are going to factor into the 6A
Skyridge's
state
starting
tournament.
to come together. They're starting to come together. They're playing better as this goes on. Mason Hunter, big game, big scorer, and PG, this is a team that I thought was going to be top 5. They've had some tough losses early, but you look at what they got there with Garrett and others, Mitten, I mean, look, they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, and they played a lot of national, and they played well, too. I mean, just had a hard one. All right, we go to 5A, and Woods Cross 6-2, and this is the team in 2 of their bigger games. We're still trying to figure who they are. They haven't played their best basketball, which might be a great thing when you look at Woods Cross catching momentum toward the end of the year.
Yeah, I think it's just consistency. They have a 20-point win over Syracuse. We just talked about how good Syracuse was, right? I think Bettinger is still trying to find himself. Jackson Smith, 25 points in that win over Syracuse. It's going to be just fine for Woods Cross. You see them, they have some impressive wins. You see somewhere it's like, ooh, that's kind of a tough loss. The Olympus game was a tough loss, right? But Olympus defended them really well. And look, but I think this is still the cream of the crop in Region 5 and still a team to be dealt with in 5A.
Before we move on, how about the Soaring Eagle. They're undefeated, be 4-2 right now out of the gates. But this is a team competing at the highest level they've ever competed.
Yeah, kind of weird to see them up in 5A, right? But lost their big Diallo last year. He left the program, but look, they got plenty of pieces. They got some big-time scores. Trust does such a good job there every year. It'll be interesting to see how the year plays out for the 5A Independent.
That'd be really interesting. All right, then we get into Region 6. Reigning 5A champ, just doing what they do. And just feels good to say this. Dowdell leading the scoring for the Olympus Titans. Dutch has been awesome.
He's been fantastic. We did a game here at Davis, and he was like 70% in the first half. Dutch was spectacular. You mix that with Jordy Barnes, runs that offense so well, and they got other contributors. Harper Madsen had a big game that win over Davis. And how about Gavin Lowe, just a freshman, but this young man making some significant contributions as a freshman for the Titans. Staff has been really impressed with what they've seen from Gavin Lowe.
You ready for a fun fact about Dutch Dowdell?
Yeah, I love it.
You want to know why he goes by Dutch?
Huh.
Says it's his first word. It's a great first word.
That is a good first word.
Credit Jackson Brousseau for that story. So, I don't know. But yeah, they've been absolutely outstanding. But how about East jumping out to a 4-1 start?
Look, defensively they've been really good. They lost to Farmington by 10. That's their only loss. Kevin Doback had 14 in that game. Frederick had 10. But look, Coach Mitch Smith preaches defense. That's what they're built on. It's what they've done this year. We'll see if that defense can hold for some of the region opponents that have really good offenses.
Now to Region 7, I know there's a team you think I'm going to talk about. I'm going to the other one. How about the Uinta Utes?
Yes.
Uinta out to a 5-1 start.
Yeah, Dawson Gardner, 19 points per game, has helped Uinta. Look, I was talking with a coach in Region 7 and said, look, this thing could be wide open.
Yeah.
When you talk about Payson has been good, Cottonwood good, Uinta adding their name to that mix. I don't think a lot of people saw them coming preseason. The non-region would show they could have a shot here.
Well, Cottonwood, just like last year, come out to a quick start here for Coach Miller.
Yeah, Chris Cox has been spectacular for Cottonwood. Had a big win over Skyline. That's a much improved Skyline group as well. Cox went for 23 and 7. Jackson Price had 19. A lot of options for Cottonwood. Can it come together for Coach Mark Miller is going to be the big question.
Now to Region 8, got a couple teams to talk about here, but Alta, a team we talked about preseason, they'll be good. Well, they're out 6-0.
Yeah, they've been spectacular. And look, Jackson Johnson's been awesome. Carter Doliak was excited to see him. He has been as advertised. And then you add Ace Reiser into the mix there. A really good team. Nash Hink is averaging double figures. This Alta team is really good. They have yet to allow, I think, more than 50 points.
Yeah.
I think they allowed 50 once. By the way, I'm going to pull you back to Region 7, Cedar Valley. One of the best atmospheres in the state.
Yep, my bad.
By the way, Coach Pugmire doing a great job. They got some players.
That's my mistake. I was going to do it. I scrolled. That's my bad. Got a little fast. Yes, the hanger.
Yes.
Lived up to its expectations.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
All right, how about Timpview? Izzy Engel in year 2, out to 5-2, including a win over Wasatch Academy. We talk about Strict State. I mean, first time Wasatch Academy's lost in the state since, well, we were there. Mole Peak down there years ago.
Yeah, 52-50. I mean, it held to 50 points. An odd second half to that game. Timpview defense did a fantastic job. And look, we talk about some of the guys that were coming back, Rust and others, but it's been Ruckert who's been the main guy, 16 points in that win over Wasatch Academy. He's been one of their top scorers. Coach Izzy Engel's done a good job.
And let me give you one more in Region 8. How about Lehigh? Cooper Lewis and crew. This team's going to get better and better. By the way, Cooper Lewis, you know whose shoes he's wearing? Ready for another fun fact?
Yeah.
He stole Jackson Brousseau's shoes, and he's wearing them.
How does that work? Same shoe size?
No, they're like a half size bigger. Got good insight on this one, by the way. Jackson's why you got the Holiday Hoop Fest camera stuff done. But yeah. So Cooper, wear Jackson's shoes with pride.
It really must be the shoes. It's been a great start for Cooper Lewis.
Yeah.
And how about Hawkins? He's been really
good
this year for Lehigh. It's a really deep roster for Coach Quincy Lewis. 2-4, a lot of those losses are out of state tournament. Lehigh's going to be just fine.
Yeah, the teams that came back against that Hoop Fest, they're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
All right, now to Region 9, and there's a team lurking. And if I'm in 5A, I get really nervous. When Springfield starts 5-1, you get nervous.
I'll tell you, there's a piece, Dusty, that we saw in the summer, but I didn't realize how good he was going to be. Jamin Sundrup. Remember the name. He's a 6'9 freshman. 6'9 freshman. He's averaging in a win over RSL. 31-9 for Jamin in that game.
Yeah.
By the way, that is not Vicentin, the other 6'8 big for Springville, who's also averaging a double-double. And then you mix in the shooting that they have with Nadal and others.
Yep.
This might be the best team in 5A.
Coach Snell, you get nervous. They start out where they are. Salem out to a great start. So is Coach Kyle Collinsworth in his first year at Provo.
Yeah, Salem Hill's got a nice win over Lehigh. I think that's a stamp of approval. DeGraff Henry had 25 in that game, and Castagneto, 17 points per game for the Provo Bulldogs. New coaching staff. We'll see if they're able to maintain that through region play.
Hey, how about we get the 4A and the reigning champion? I mean, they lose some guys, but Coach Doug Beecham starts out 5-1.
Yeah, really impressive start. I mean, you talk about losing guys. Lost is big. Lost Bowen Hammer. It's Owen McKay. It's been the Owen McKay show, 19-6 to start the year for Snow Canyon, 5-1 off to the start.
And then the Dixie, Flyers, and Lemke.
That team is so good. Lemke is so good. Roberts running the point there, and a lot of other guys around that can contribute there for the Dixie Flyers. Robinson had 35 points in a win over Harriman, hit 8 threes. There's a lot of roster for Coach Roberts, and Kyle Lemke might be one of the better bigs in the state.
Yeah, but St. George ain't running away with 4A. Skyview, they came to the Northern
This
shootout.
is a legit team.
And they lit it up.
They probably could have beat Olympus.
Yeah.
Did beat Woods Cross in that one. Deal had 24, Davis had 20. We love that duo. We saw them in the top 50. Skyview is for real up north. That's a good team.
And now some connection for you. How about Frankham? Frankham Crew Ridgeline starting out 6-1.
And look, this is a group. They have a nice win over Fremont. That's a 6A Fremont team. We didn't talk about them when we went through 6A.
Yeah.
Hunter Hansen and company. That's a double-digit win over the Fremont Silverwolves. That's legit. Let me give you one more. The Logan Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Great start for Logan this year. A lot of people think that might be a sleeper up north. And when you think about Skyview and Ridgeline, and you're saying, hey, Logan compete with them, basketball up north is in really good hands. And Justin Anderson, 22 points per game. Child, 16. A lot of offense for the Grizz this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a team, and you talk about the Grizz for the first time since Brimhall, Abuo, and crew.
Yep.
Be really good. All right, now we go to 3A. And I got to do this because they're that good. The Emory Spartans, and it's a justice. That's an irony that kind of gets worked into this thing. 14 points per game. Emory looking really good there at the Spartans Center.
Tuttle as well, one of the top scorers for Emory this year. Great start for Emory.
Dennis Stilson, so get that one too. And that looked really good.
How about Grantsville, 6-0 to start the year? We talked about some of the guys they had coming back on this group. Morrison averaging double figures. Mulford as well, I think 16 for Mulford, 14 for Morrison. And Coach Austin, we went out there last year. He's got a really good foundation at Grantsville, just being built upon this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we look where that could head is going to be just spectacular. And Manti jumps out 5-1 as well.
Yeah, good start for Manti and for Judge as well. 5-1 for Coach Kolovrat, and he's got a scorer there in Aiden Sacedo, averaging over 20 points per game. Bulldog basketball making a surge.
He's going to make a good surge. And hey, by the way, I got a distant nephew, Zeke Wilson, playing pretty well for the Dinos. Start out 4-0. Now, hey, now 0-4. Come on, boys. We gotta pick that nonsense up. But hey, and then of course, Coach Condi starting out 6-1 for Southern Academy.
Yeah, you know, Coach Condi, one of the best at sandbagging. Said, I don't know how good we'll do this year. You're 6-1, Coach.
Utah State Aggies don't sandbag anything. They schedule wins, but they don't sandbag anything. That's for you, Coach. All right, and then the 2A. And we look at 2A, Dane. Who should be looking at?
I'll start with Knapp. You look at Cornell, 13 points per game. The Cowboys off to a 7-0 start. This 2A feels really open after that, right? Knapp's been off to a great start, but you look at some of the other programs, you know, there's a lot of teams here that are right around 500.
Utah Military.
They've played up classifications and whatnot. We'll give you a couple players to watch for. How about South Sevier? You've got Reg Tibbs, 16 points per game. Emilio Miramontes, 15-7 for South Sevier. But one of our favorites, Brock Felder in Parawan.
Yes.
Don't forget the headband of Brock Felder.
Johnny Lawrence of Utah.
Yeah, 17 points per game for the Rams. That Parawan team's going to be scary.
It's going to be really good. I'm going to give you a chance to talk about your team that we always talk about. But how about the Paiute boys? How about Dalton? 20 points per game.
Yeah.
Paiute, they didn't throw their hat in the ring in 1A.
Yeah, a couple Westwoods there, the brothers of Westwood. Cole and Jackson, 13 and 12 respectively, to help pace the offense there for Paiute. And how about the Milford men, Dusty? We got youth of the Tigers, and look, it's been fantastic. Trey Rose, 16 and 6. Sadler Barnes, 12 and 4. Yes, that Barnes. And then, by the way, Sosi, he was the quarterback in the fall. He's on the hardwood here in the winter, 11 and 7. A lot of talent for the Milford men.
And again, one more shout out to the other high school playing basketball in Carbon County. How about the Pinnacle boys starting out 7 and 2, Barton 12 points per game, Kessler at 10.
Tuck Davis, one of the top scorers in the classification, playing for Manila, 20-6 to start the year for Manila.
It's a lot to go through in boys basketball. We'll go through it every week. Hit us up with notes we're missing. We know we're missing a lot. There's a lot of teams. There's a lot of games. We'll try to get through it as well. For Vince Francis and Dane Stewart, I'm Dusty Lister. Thanks for joining us watching KSL Sports Rewind, presented by Heidemann Associates on KSLSports.com.